This is quick drawing, brothers and sisters, of one Luffy, the Monkey D. Luffy. Hope you're liking it. One Piece, Chapter 56. I refuse. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as expected, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the excellently woven, action packed tale of One Piece. The last chapter left us at the end with the bottom line being that Red Leg Zeff, Chef Zeff, has a gun put to the back of his head by Gin. Gin is, of course, one of Don Krieg's pirates, and he is basically, well, that's how it ends, and of course Luffy and Sanji are pissed off because, they didn't think particularly that he had allegiance to them, but they did think that he was going to stay out of the way because he knew what Don Krieg was doing was wrong. So that's how the chapter picks up over here, and it picks up pretty quickly. We see that Gin is really, just a piece of shit, and he's just kind of in it to win it, no matter what he's got to do. And so he immediately goes and starts making threats and come any closer and I'll blow his brains out. He may have once been a great pirate, but he's just an old cook right now. And then he actually goes and in a pretty lowly move, he goes and he actually breaks off Chef Zeff's Red Leg Zeff's his leg, his wooden leg, and everybody's like, "You son of a bitch," and you're just thinking, man. I knew I didn't trust that guy to begin with, but I don't know, just real low. I guess no honor amongst thieves. So in the next scene or whatever, there we have him say basically, I want you to get off the ship. And Sanji, kind of starts some shit too, and he says, he tells Zeff, he goes, you're giving us a bad name over here. You're giving all the fighting cooks a bad name. Basically letting this guy get the drop on you and having a gun to the back of your head. And and he goes and says, it's not the time for this, Sanji. And you and your nonsense. And Sanji gets all pissed off. Don't call me that crap geezer. So you can tell that there's some history between them just because of the way the anger wells up in between them, and that starts to unfold too during the course of this chapter. But ultimately, what winds up happening is again Gin says basically if you want him to live, you have to leave this ship, and Sanji says I refuse, and everybody's like what, and he's like I absolutely refuse, right? And he goes and he starts explaining. He says, "Listen, everything has been taken from this man, or I've partaken in taking everything from this man. He's lost this, he's lost that. He loves this ship, and this is all he has, and I'm not going to let anybody take it from him. So he even tells Gin at one point. He says, "Don't be a coward. Point that gun at me." And Gin's like, "Why? What are you talking about?" Well, this happens. Pearl gets back up, and the invincible Pearl, is pissed off because now he's gotten two bloody noses, and certainly his 61-0 record has been tarnished, as I mentioned in the last one. And even though I'm not super amped and charged, and like I normally am, it's just because I'm kind of soaking in the details of the chapter over here. But it really is. It's a lot of most of it. The meat of the chapter is a lot of action. But it's kind of somber action because what it is it's Sanji not wanting to give in and refusing to leave the ship, and Pearl just using attack after attack on him while everybody looks on. And Luffy, of course, tries to interfere, but he's warned by Don Krieg not to. And of course the Red Leg is at gunpoint. He's got a gun to the back of his head. So as Sanji won't give in, I mean, he's just getting beaten and battered, up and down the ship, and Pearl's pulling out every underhanded trick he's got. One of them is, Pearl symbols, and he takes the two shield-like things that are on his hands and just smashes, Sanji's head, like one of those old dancing bears or whatever with the symbols, that would go, and I don't know. Like I said, it's not. It's a lot of action, but it's certainly not joyous at all because it helps, at least for me, develop and build some respect for Sanji, whatever his motivations and intentions are and loyalties to Red Leg. They run pretty deep because he's getting his shit handed to him. He's definitely catching his lunch. So We then go in and we wind up kind of going into a brief flashback, which is pretty cool. Right after, again, there's probably about 6 or 8 pages of Sanji just getting his shit kicked in. So we know, of course, too, like I mentioned before, that Sanji said something as he was starting to get, beaten down in between the beatings that, he took everything from him, from Red Leg. So he goes into this flashback, and as he does it, and he's just laying there battered and broken and beaten, he says the all blue. And it goes into the flashback and shows that he was, the passenger ship Orbit. And apparently when he was 9 years old, or 9 years ago, he was actually like a busboy, on the ship, or whatever, a cook's apprentice. And being the cook's apprentice like he was, he kind of, would listen to and overhear some of the other cooks. And one of the legends, I guess it was, and this will probably be revealed more as we come through, is of the all blue. There is, of course, the East Blue, the North Blue, the South Blue, and the West Blue, the 4 oceans. And I guess it was a legend that there's this all blue that has fish and of course wildlife and everything, sea animals from all 4 oceans in it. And Sanji's like, oh, I want to find it, I want to go there. And of course he's a kid at the time, and all the cooks kind of laugh it off and say, listen, it's just a legend. It was probably just made up by some cook that was just daydreaming and wanting to have the best of all worlds. And so obviously that's not the last that we're going to hear of that, but at this moment it is. And a couple of pages later, they go through some things, and you see about them not wasting food at sea, because you see the cooks eating some of the half-eaten meals, and Sanji's like, don't do that, I just scraped some stuff out that was garbage. And they said, listen, you're just a greenhorn. When you're a seafaring cook, you don't waste anything, because you never know how long you're going to be out at sea, and if you're going to run out of food. So you eat anything and everything, and that's kind of where you can see he developed the whole we don't waste food, right? So the chapter winds up then ending on the next page as we get all of a sudden kind of everybody going crazy, and they hear a crash, and what the hell is going on? And somebody says, that we're being boarded by pirates. We're going to be boarded and pillaged by pirates. And we then go and see a younger version of Red Leg Zeff, the lead, the captain of the pirate cooks. And so he's obviously the one that that is coming for them, or we're going to see what ties in the chapters to come, and what their past is. But as I said, it was overall an action-packed but fairly somber chapter, just because although there was some good character development of Sanji as well as Red Leg, you hate to see. You hate to see somebody you're rooting for just get his ass mopped up and down the deck. I just wound up healing a little bit over seeing Zoro get defeated so easily by Hawkeye. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to hit the like button, give a thumbs up if you think I deserve it, and certainly subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation. As always, thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. Be sure to subscribe and take a look at some of my other videos. Thanks. See you next time, Nation.